What's up, guys? This is Jared with Hunt Nashville. Welcome back to the podcast. This is, I guess, technically season 2. We took a break for deer season and the holidays because we all knew we were going to be in the woods hunting and doing Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving and traveling, and it was just best if we took a break. So we are back. This is episode 27 technically, but if you want to get into the semantics of it, it's episode 1 of season 2. We have got a really good show for you today. We've got first Matt Neill. He's a buddy of ours that we hooked up with at the NWTF show this year to talk about the good old days, to talk about turkey hunting, duck hunting, a little bit of everything. Matt's a very accomplished turkey and duck hunter. He is very humble about it, but he's pretty good. You should just go check out his Instagram. I think it's like at Matt Neill. I don't know. I'll put it in the show notes. So we got a good chance to talk to him for about 30 minutes or so, and then we kind of hit the show floor, did a little shopping, looked around, and got a chance to talk to Steven Tucker, who is the current world record non-typical buck holder with Boone and Crockett. And we got a chance to talk to Michael Wattle, which is the previous world record non-typical record holder. Pretty cool. They had some really good information. I apologize for the audio in the background. We were out on the show floor, and if you've ever been to a convention like this, you know it's insanely loud. But just thought it'd be a good chance to talk to those guys and pick their brains a little bit about the hunt and kind of their method behind deer hunting and what we can do to actually kill a deer that size. Because you never know. They're both right here in Middle Tennessee. I mean, no matter where you are in the country, or the world for that matter. But, you know, if you're in Tennessee, you got a pretty good chance. We got 2 world record bucks coming right out of this area. So thanks for listening. If you like this podcast and want to hear more like it, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Hunt Nashville. Facebook is Hunt Nashville, I think, or Double Trouble Hunting. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, kind of wherever you're listening to it from. And then also, if you're listening on iTunes, which most of our listeners do, try to drop a review. 4 or 5 stars, no big deal. You don't even have to say anything. But the review helps other people find this show, and maybe they'll find something they're interested in. So thanks for listening, and we'll get into it.
I'm nervous because I don't know what you guys are going to ask me. I feel like
Matt Neill, you are.
I got pulled.
How tall are you? 6'6"?
Yeah.
Are you 6'6"?
Yeah, like right 6'5", 6'6".
And you're nervous right now about doing a podcast? Come on.
No, it's weird though. I mean, think about this. I was just in a room full of a bunch of people, and all of a sudden these 2 guys dragged me to this separate room way down this very, very long hall.
Where did you put the money?
Yeah. Right. So we're already recording.
And now you keep
Yeah, we get
closer.
Closer.
With every question, you keep moving closer. I feel like y'all.
I need to be on your lap here pretty soon.
Sounds kind of weird. I need to put my hand on your thigh.
Yeah, but like in a second, this dude's gonna come behind me with a bag and stick it over my head.
Does this smell like chloroform?
And I'm gonna wake up in Russia or something.
So right now we're live at the NWTF.
We're not live for them. They're listening to this later.
Well, I know, but I'm live. I'm always switched on and live.
I'm always on.
God, I don't know what I got myself into.
But we're here to NWTF National Wild Turkey Federation Convention in Nashville, and we're at the Opryland Resort, and we're in a media room that there's no one here. We're the only media, apparently. Everyone else is out buying stuff.
Apparently it's not cool to be in here.
Right.
Until now, because we're in here.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're sitting down with my buddy Matt Neill. I've known Matt 12 years or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
probably,
crazy.
Yeah. Well, maybe even like more. I think more like 15.
Yeah, like 15 years.
Long time ago.
He's from Magnolia, Arkansas, and he used to come be a bodyguard out on the road for King Billy, essentially.
Yeah.
I think you were just more so chasing girls though than anything.
It didn't work though.
Right, I noticed that.
So, I'm 33 and still single, so obviously my plan didn't pan out.
But Matt is a very accomplished turkey hunter, deer hunter,
Duck hunter.
Yeah, does it all in the outdoors. In growing up in Arkansas, How'd you first get into hunting?
Like my family did it. My uncles, my dad. I remember, I think the first time I ever went hunting, I was 3. And my dad took me and my brother. He took us both, so my mom could actually go and hunt by herself and not have to deal with us.
Nice.
And we killed a deer. I don't know how.
Right.
You mean
you pulled a trigger?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old in the deer stand up there, like hitting each other and all kinds of fun stuff.
Right.
And a deer walked out and like right in front of us.
Oh,
It was
man.
a spike, and he shot it. And I guess it was on after that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why like if your first hunt is a successful hunt, then you're pretty much hooked.
Yeah.
Right. Like
It was crazy. I can still, I mean, it's as weird as it sounds, I can still see it. Like,
really? And you were 3?
I remember, I was 3.
That's awesome.
Lord,
I don't remember
that's awesome.
anything.
It was crazy. It's one of the few things I remember from when I was little.
That's really cool. So when did you kill your first deer?
I was 10.
10.
Killed my first deer the first day of bow season when I was 10.
First deer with a bow.
First deer I ever killed was with a bow.
First deer we ever killed was with a bow.
Yeah.
It's an exclusive throw.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Doe, buck.
It was a spike.
Okay.
I killed killed that one. Actually, I was a little nervous. I missed the first one. And
the first shot or the first deer?
First deer.
Oh, okay.
Missed it. It went off, and about 15 minutes later, another one came through and
That's awesome.
got that one.
So did you just start off deer hunt, or did you do any other kind? Because I know you're into duck and turkey now.
First type of hunting I think I ever really did. They used to take me when we would go squirrel hunting.
Okay.
And my uncles owned squirrel dogs, and the first thing I ever killed was a squirrel.
410, 22?
20 gauge.
Oh, okay. I think
Lots of shots from a 20 gauge. He's still on my wall at the house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
my
awesome.
parents did that.
I've actually been to Matt's house where he lives. In you're on about 100 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 acres. There's like a catfish pond, and it's a redneck paradise, is what it is.
Yeah, we actually built a new one since you've been there. We've got like another one that's like 8-9 acres, something like that.
Oh, nice.
Lots of big bass.
That's a lake.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
shoot.
it's pretty large.
Man, you need to get a jet ski out there.
It's big enough.
Trolling motor on the back?
Yeah.
So, I mean, your whole family takes off for deer season, opening weekend, pretty much. Your folks still hunt and everything?
Yeah,
that's
my
awesome.
dad does, and he doesn't deer hunt as much. We got him into duck hunting back when I was in college, and that's what his thing is. And he turkey hunts with me a little bit. He and I actually, I was able to call a turkey in for him last year, which was pretty cool.
that's awesome.
And but yeah, my uncles, my dad didn't grow up hunting, and his brother and then my mom's brother, they both did, and they kind of got him into it and started me in it. And now it's just, I mean, I've got a 4-year-old little cousin, and I've actually got 2 4-year-old little cousins, and they both have waders.
Oh, nice.
To go duck hunting. They both went on their first duck hunts this year. They both go
Nice.
deer hunting, and
It's literally a family tradition.
and
it's-
it looks like it's going to keep going.
Yeah, man,
So-
that's awesome. And there's some parts of the country it's not as much of that. It's like one person in the family will hunt, but like companies shut down for certain times of the
Oh
year.
yeah, in the state of Arkansas, there are some schools that have that Monday, so it'd be the 3rd day of the actual modern gun season, that they have deer day. They
that's
do
awesome.
not go to school.
That's great.
So
I love it.
Yeah, that's what we need in our country. We need more of that.
more deer day.
More deer day.
Exactly.
More deer day.
More Deer Day. That's
was
our new
common.
campaign.
That was common when I was a kid too in South Mississippi.
Yeah.
Like nobody would show
We
up.
don't have it, but I mean, it's pretty much kind of.
It's implied.
Yeah.
So me and Matt met through Josh Matheny, who was on our very first podcast,
Yeah.
I think, one of the first. And Josh is a dobro player. And so Matt, you dabble in a little bit of songwriting and stuff like that. And, over the years, you've written some songs with some different people. Like you wrote, what's that big hit you had? Little Big Town, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that's Carrie Barlow.
That's Carrie. My name tag confused you. I'm sorry.
He's wearing
Yeah.
Carrie Barlow's name tag.
I just wanted to be somebody today.
So
I
if you
haven't
see-
ever met you, Carrie, but thanks.
Yeah. So if you see a 6'6" Carrie Barlow walking around, you gotta say hi. Ask him about his hits.
Yeah, and if you're single and if Carrie Barlow hit on you today,
Yeah.
it wasn't the real one. Don't worry, Hillary.
Well, Matt, we want to, because you kill deer all the time and everything, but everything that I've seen all the pictures I'm seeing that you're sending out of your turkey season has just always, you've had a grand slam. Like, how many, have you had the full?
No.
Oh, you haven't had them? Okay, I thought you were close though,
I want
right?
to, yeah.
He's had the Eastern Turkey Grand Slam.
Right, yeah. Always limiting out. This guy hunts them all over.
Yeah, we usually do Kansas and Arkansas. So I've killed some Rios in Texas and Kansas, and then Easterns in Arkansas, and some Easterns in Kansas too. But still trying to get lined up on the Osceola and the Merriams.
Yeah.
I want to do it all in 1 year.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting instead of doing it I want to do it all in like one season.
Oh, right, because that's the true Grand Slam, right?
Instead of the calendar year. Yeah. And so I got to get in a little bit better at work, before you can just jump out for a month and disappear.
Have you heard about the North American Slam? You kill a bird in 49 states.
Whoa.
Yeah, that'd be
They don't have them in
cool.
Alaska, but every other state has turkeys.
Wow.
That's a thing now, too. There's like eight people have done it.
Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Oh, I never heard of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you get into turkey hunting? Was it as early as deer hunting, or was it later?
I think the first time I ever went, I was like 14, maybe 14 or 15, and I literally got into it because I watched it on TV. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody that I grew up with, my uncle had just started hunting at the time. And I remember my dad, the first time I went turkey hunting, my dad took me and we went out, on like a Saturday morning or whatever. And I had a call that they had given me at an NWTF banquet. And when we got out of the truck, like, turkeys were just going nuts. And, it's like on TV, you just go up there and yelp and they come up there and you kill it and it's over with. Well, that's what we thought anyway.
Yeah.
But I got my butt whipped that morning by several turkeys. And then, learn more about it from different people. I got to learn from a guy that, like, down around where we hunt, he's probably one of the best turkey hunters. He's just very knowledgeable, been doing it for a long time, and he kind of taught me some things. And I finally got one down, and then once I did that, it just kind of started a fire to do it, and I've been at it ever since. I think I killed my first one when I was 15.
Nice.
So,
And just a little context, how many birds you killed last year?
last year, only killed 3 last year.
But, over the past 3 seasons, what were you saying?
I was talking about one place in Kansas. I've hunted up there and could potentially have killed 18 in the times I've been there, and I've killed 15, I think.
That's pretty dang good.
But I don't know. Everybody misses every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No, that's the truth. I've missed. Have you missed? Jared's
I've
never
missed one turkey.
Jared doesn't miss.
But I've missed. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the amount of deer I missed.
Yeah, we won't talk about deer. We've got some of those on
The
film.
turkeys I've been pretty good. I missed one morning.
I do a lot of hunting back home with my friend Wes, and he was like, one day he was like, man, when you're sitting back there calling and the turkeys come up, he's like, if it's kind of an iffy shot, I'm not worried about it, because if I miss, I know you're going to kill him.
All right.
That's what he taught him. But when he said that year was I missed, and then it was just
It's in your head, yeah.
I had gone like 12 or 13 seasons and never missed one, and then when he said that, it was just downhill.
Wow.
After that.
I missed one the year before I got glasses.
Oh, really?
So you've got an excuse.
That was one of the reasons I got glasses.
I've still got.
The year I got glasses, I killed 4. It's the first time I'd ever limited out.
That shows. So you didn't.
I was probably walking past birds and had those look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling him for years he needed glasses. I was
my
like,
gosh.
dude,
I've missed a
deer is
lot.
right there. And he's like, where? I was like, look to your right.
It's like guiding my head around.
Yeah.
But, we like to ask different hunters this same question, but just walk us through when you show up to a new spot you've never hunted and you get out of the truck. Walk us through that first morning when it's just it's before daylight in Turkey Woods.
You're hunting timberland.
Timberland. Okay.
So that's a good qualifier.
I guess
Timberland's there? You're saying that?
Timberland's there. You're hunting with timberland.
Timberland. Yeah. We're making beats.
All right, exactly.
That's how we start.
All right.
Sampling.
But no, I guess like the only time I've really done that is when I'm out of state in Kansas or something. I've got a really good guide that I hunt with up there, so I usually don't go into. I mean, I go in there kind of blind, but I usually know what's going on.
Yep.
But last year I went down to Louisiana one morning, and all I had was my cousin had been down to a certain spot and showed me just like a aerial photo, and I went in there, and it's just when I do that, I just go in. I went in and got in to what looked like a good spot to me from looking at it overhead, and just sat down and just sat there and listened and tried to see, go from there. Look, if you hear one, try to work with it, get around on it or whatever.
So you didn't do any locating on that?
I usually don't. I just try to listen
sit.
And sit. And if I start trying to locate them, I usually wait until later in the morning. I sit for if I go sit and I'm not hearing anything, I just sit for a while and see.
You're much more patient than
All right, there you go. That's the first tip. We've been doing it wrong, Jared.
Been doing it all wrong.
I wouldn't say
anything wrong.
Well, there's so many different ways you can do it. I know some people that just go down there, but in my experience where we hunt, a lot of times locator calls when you're using an owl call or crow call or something, they don't ever really respond to it for whatever reason. And I'm not the only one that my cousin's probably the best turkey hunter I've ever crossed paths with, and he doesn't use one. He doesn't own one. Just for that fact, they don't. I just hope that something makes them. Hopefully they're just gobbling on their own or something.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you get lucky. Last year we got lucky. We went in a thunderstorm, and when we opened the truck door, the thunder popped.
Oh, nice.
And they went nuts. And
Oh, yeah.
it was that's always helpful. But yeah, I used to be really, really quick to run and do all kinds of stuff, and now I try to sit back a little bit and listen. And it's probably killed a few turkeys in the past few years that I wouldn't have killed before.
Because of that. Yeah, because you're not just trying to chase after something.
Yeah.
Bumping birds that you never even
Yeah, because you're not hearing them. I like to let them get down and start, see if something gets them going. And then, most of the time when I hunt, I've been running cameras or going and listening and watching, so kind of have an idea of what I think. Or I hunt a lot of the same properties, and the tendency of the turkeys that I've seen is they do a lot of the same stuff year after year. So I kind of base it off of that. So I try to set up, even if I'm not hearing them, I might set up where I know I've seen them, or you're seeing tracks or whatever. But
That's going to be the area they're coming to.
Yeah.
And you're like, yep.
Or the cameras.
Yeah. That patience comes with time with turkey hunting. I don't have it.
Yeah.
I've hunted for a long time. I have a hard time sitting still if there's nothing gobbling.
I know, that's
hard.
tough.
There's different people, that do different ways. And my uncle, he's a really good turkey hunter, but he's really patient. He gets on to me and my cousin Brad because we'll sit and be a little patient, and then if it's not, we'll be quick to do something, and we'll probably make some moves that he doesn't do. But he told him that a guy that he started hunting with that was from Alabama, I think, that's been hunting turkeys all his life. He's like, man, if you call and you get that turkey to gobble, don't move for an hour from the last time he does it. And he said that's killed a lot of my turkeys.
I have a similar rule, but it's more like 20 minutes.
Right.
But I do have, from the last time I make a sound, I won't move for a little bit. Because I have stood up, and there'd be a bird coming over your eyes, just coming in quiet. You had no idea.
We've totally busted birds like that. And that hunt with Justin Shipper that we had.
Oh, yeah. Bird was coming right in front of us.
We knew, and we just got antsy.
He was coming down the field edge, and we were like, go ahead, get a little closer so you can see. And he went and dropped down through the ditch, and on the footage, as he goes down the ditch, he turns around and looks at us, and when he turns around and looks, the bird crosses the only opening for the shot, and none of us saw it.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he turns around and the bird flies off. We didn't even know he'd have gotten in front of us.
The patience thing, man. A lot of things have happened before, and I still sometimes am real quick to do something. But the first, before I'd ever killed a longbeard, I'd never killed a turkey before. There was this really big turkey that we were after, and I caught him the first day I had him coming, and I was just like, I can't sit here and wait for him to break that 300 yards. I'm going to meet him in the middle.
Right.
And being the young idiot that I was, I made him in the middle all right. Whenever I went to stick the decoy in the ground, I looked up, and he was standing there looking at me.
Oh, he had already bridged the gap.
Yeah, well, I went at him, and he came at me at the same time.
Y'all did meet in the middle.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
He knew you were there, and you didn't know he was there.
My dad was yelling at me the whole time to stop, and I didn't do it. And and that, and then like I had one turkey that I actually didn't kill, but I had tried to kill this turkey numerous times. And one morning I sat, and I mean, I did everything. Every call I knew. I actually left him and got in the truck and drove around the other side of the property and could still hear him, and it made me mad. So I went back. I went back in there and had been on him since like fly down, and this was probably like 10 o'clock in the morning. And I remember I was on the phone, like he was sitting 100 yards from me and just gobbling and gobbling. Anything you did, he would triple gobble. Mm-hmm. I've never heard a turkey gobble that much. And I was on the phone with my friend, and I was like, listen to this. And I literally turned it, and he could hear him. And I was just sitting there. I finally, put the gun down and was just sitting there like, well, I guess I'm not going to kill him. And then all of a sudden, man, I did one call. And the next thing I knew, he was like 5 steps.
Really?
But he was 5 steps, and my gun was on the ground, and I was sitting, and I had to watch him go off. But, I mean, that turkey, it took me literally like 5 hours of me sitting on the same tree and just sitting. And, I mean, you could do anything, and then he finally just broke,
Well, it's with turkey hunting especially. There's not like – I've had hunts where I've sat still and killed a bird, like called, waited 45 minutes, and the bird comes in just quietly. I've also had hunts where I was just walking through the woods and probably would have never known that bird was there had I not been up and walking. So it's like there's not a great being really patient for birds, at least in my experience, is not the way to do it. And being really aggressive with birds is not the way to do it. It's kind of like sometimes it's a flip of a coin. You know what I mean? Like
right,
trying to make
right
the best
place,
decision.
right time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it's just one of those things. You can have your way that you like to do stuff.
Right.
That probably works best for you most of the time. But yeah, I mean, you can go and be on the same turkey, and you're on him on a Friday morning or whatever, and he does this, and you kind of do this to him. It doesn't work. You go back in there the next day, you could do the same exact same thing, and he'll run in and just commit suicide.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's true. What's so when did you get into duck hunting?
I think the first time I went, I was like 12.
Okay.
My uncle.
Because you're right there in the duck belt.
Yeah, well, like I mean, we're from Arkansas, so everybody thinks Arkansas.
Hey, more duck belt than here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But my uncle got into it, and so I think my dad went a couple times back when he was younger. Mm-hmm. My uncle got my brother into it, and that kind of got, looking up to older brother, you wanted to do what he was doing.
Gotcha.
And I went, like, on youth, they would take me on a youth day or something. So, I'd hunt like once a year or something. And just started, in high school, I started going with people. Actually, it's kind of how Josh, you were saying, that's kind of how Josh and I met. We went on a duck hunt with a mutual friend. And we knew each other, but that's when we really became friends. But just started doing that, and it just progressed to that's what I wanted to do, And we used to get up. I mean, I've spent the night in boats on public land so we could get our spot. Right. I've driven boats across lakes that were frozen. It was that cold to, shoot ducks. And it's we're members of a duck camp down there with a lot of good guys, and some of my best friends that I've had since high school and college, and some even that I grew up with. Right. And it's a nice place to stay, and a lot of good people, good food, and all. But we do some good with the ducks sometimes. So I spend a lot of time over there.
Yeah. I saw your Instagram feed this last year. I think you did real good this past season.
Yeah, I did. It was one of my better years as far as me personally. Yeah. It was, but
me and Jared got to get out there with you one of these seasons. I've always wanted to try it. We just don't have it around. People do duck hunt like in Old Hickory Lake, but it's just not the same.
Around. You can get in some good spots, but it's hit or miss around here.
Yeah, we've got a big. Luckily, the guy that has the camp, it's a very large piece of property, and it's like right off of the Red River in southwest Arkansas, and then a bunch of the landowners around us too. They have a ton of water and a ton of food. They farm for ducks. Mm-hmm. So we hold a lot of ducks throughout the year. So it's a good, lucky. I'm lucky to be able to hunt there.
Right. What's your favorite out of turkey, deer, and ducks? Everybody has to have one.
It used to be ducks, but I'm kind of leaning towards the turkeys.
Really? That's
in the middle of duck season this year, I was ready for the turkeys. So.
Yeah, that's how turkeys, I think, is my favorite.
Yeah, it snowed in Arkansas back in, late December, early January, and a buddy sent me a picture, 2 sets of gobbler tracks in the snow, and I don't think gave a dang about shooting a
Think
duck
about
after that.
it. Yeah. I saw my first trio of toms this morning driving down Old Hickory coming over here. They were out on that golf course.
Oh, yeah.
And they were spraying right by the road, about 10-inch beards. Probably just like 2-year-old birds. They didn't look like they were very old. But, they were huge. It's just soaking wet, matted with rain. I'm like, I'm ready for next
See,
month.
good old Tennessee. You can see them. You can drive around and see them.
yeah.
Down there, it's thick.
Yeah.
Where I hunt, so you don't see them out a lot.
You
see
have
'em
like
here, like
swampland and timber. A lot of
just
timber.
a lot of pine, like
Pine,
a lot
yeah.
of thick stuff. And I mean, you'll see them out in the right of ways and stuff. We've got a couple properties that have big power line right of ways, and we definitely use that to our advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're spoiled.
As far as getting around. But yeah, I mean, I remember when I actually used to live here and would be driving down, from Lenox Village over to the Y to work out with Donnie, and there would be like longbeard strutting in people's front yard.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right after I moved here, and I was like, man, what in the world is this? It's,
Yeah, they're all over, but they disappear when me and Jared get in the woods. That's for sure.
Yeah, the deer the same way. I saw this fall during season, I drive to work one morning. I saw probably about 100 and I bet he would go 160, 170 out in the field. Yeah. And when I went hunting, I killed a little 2-year-old 6-point with a goofy horn.
Again, patience.
Yeah, but guess what? That one tasted just as good as that 170.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I care about.
I had a year full of does this year.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah, that's all I had too.
I actually grilled some, I think, couple nights ago, and it was very
It's
good.
Yeah, our favorite thing has become roast. We'll just do like a venison roast with potatoes and carrots, onions, and oh my gosh, cook it all day.
If you could give one turkey hunting tip for a new turkey hunter, what would you tell him? Like somebody's
One tip?
yeah,
Just one.
Just one. Just give
This will guarantee you at least one bird.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
I don't know if there's a guarantee, man. But like, I think to me, the biggest thing about killing a turkey, I think probably that helps me, and it's not something that everybody's going to have because some people public hunt, so they're in different spots all the time, or they're dealing with maybe another hunter or something. Luckily, where I hunt, we hunt on private lands that we lease or that we own, but knowing the land, like the lay of the land, the creeks, the ridges, the roads, and stuff like that. I think the biggest deal is know if you have the capability of being able to, like, go study where you're at, and that's going to help
when
you.
you study it, you look for turkey sign.
Yes, you look
or
for turkey
strutting
sign
zones.
and I just look for stuff that, like, I mean, it looks like places that look like you could, and I mean, you see turkey sometimes, but even when that turkey's there, you've got that tract of land and you've been hearing that turkey. If you don't know what's around him, sometimes you're not going to kill him just because of certain things that get in between you or different things that come into play. But I've killed several turkeys that when you heard it, we killed this year is a prime example of it. I was with a buddy and he's hunted this property forever. It's his father-in-law's property. And we got on the turkeys and they wouldn't. There were 3 turkeys gobbling in the tree and they flew down and they wouldn't do anything. And my first instinct, they started to go one direction a little bit. And I told Wes, I was like, man, we got to pack up and get around. And he was like, man, it floods down there. It gets really wet. And he said, every year we kill turkeys on this hill in this road. He was like, let's just go get up there. And he said, I guarantee you we'll kill those turkeys in that road if we just sit here for a little while. And about an hour and a half later, we had all 3 of those turkeys at about 10 steps.
Nice.
And shot 2 of them.
Awesome.
And it's like, but he knew it. I looked at him, when we got in the truck. I said, we wouldn't have killed those turkeys this morning if you wouldn't have known where we were and just being familiar with the land and what was what, Because I was fixing to end up down in the middle of a swamp.
Exactly.
And he was like, no, let's go this way.
Yeah.
And
That's good
it
advice.
paid off.
Sage advice from a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah.
All right. Well, what you got anything else? Matt,
Do you have a favorite turkey hunt that you can remember? That's my favorite turkey hunt. Just walk us through that if you got one.
I could probably walk you through a bunch of them.
Right.
Man. But one of the coolest hunts I ever went on over there where we duck hunt. The landowner's really good about kids. Want kids to get to hunt, especially kids that don't get to hunt or get to do anything. We bring them over there fishing and shooting and riding around and just letting them get outside. And he auctioned off a hunt at a charity fundraiser for a turkey hunt to hunt with his son Wes, which is the guy that I hunt with quite a bit, and a kid that his family bought it. He was 11 at the time, and he had a form of autism, I believe is what it was. But he had never hunted anything, and he, 5 minutes he would be interested, in 5 minutes he wouldn't be. But we brought him over and let him catch some fish and shot his gun and all that stuff. And they took him out that morning, and we all spread out and went all over the place trying to, find a turkey that was gobbling good. And they got on one that didn't pan out. And he called me and he was like, man, meet me back at the thing. We got to do something. We got to get this kid a turkey. And we loaded up and we just hit the roads. There's these big, long roads that we like to hunt there on that property. And I just got in front of them and was just walking and, looking around the bends and calling every once in a while. And I happened to look around and saw this turkey in the road, just not maybe 100 yards or something. But you also have to picture that there's 6 of us.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I start motioning. I've got 2 kids, and it's a youth hunt. So they both have their guns, and then me and Wes, and then a guy filming, and then one of the kids' dad. And we get all set up, and, nothing's going. And then I finally was like, man, something's not right. And then you barely heard this gobble. Long story short, we saw this turkey, completely different turkey. And he was like 550 yards, that straight stretch in that road. We were in one end of it and he was in the other, but there's no way to get down there. So we sat there and, we've got this kid and he's paying attention sometimes. And I'm sitting back there, with sleeves rolled up, sunglasses on, no anything. And we tried and Brent was looking through the binoculars and he was like, man, when you just called, he gobbled. He was like, keep doing it. And you couldn't hear him, but you could see it. You could see his head, and he was just spinning and spinning and spinning. And finally, I looked at Wes, and I was like, man, let's just do whatever we can. And we were both running 2 calls at the same time. So we had 4 calls just making all kinds of noise. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden, that turkey starts walking, towards us. And I was like, man. Then he goes in the woods. And they were like, man, he left. And I was like, no, just keep, just stay on him. And all of a sudden, turkeys start going on both sides of us. It was,
nice.
And then I look up, and this turkey steps back out at 250 yards. And I looked, and Wes was sitting with the kid sitting in his lap, but they couldn't see down the road that far, so they couldn't see him. So he's texting me, and I'm standing behind a tree now. I can't move. Right. Still no face mask. I'm standing. And he's texting, and I'm just sitting there. I'm 250, 225, 200, and the whole time he's gobbling. And then he just breaks and runs down in the ditch that was flooded and ran through the water, full speed, beard swinging, water splashing everywhere. And because I knew he was running, I knew he wouldn't hear me. I was like, Wes, get ready.
All right.
And I heard him say, all right, Jacob, get ready. And the turkey comes. And he gets there's a big window for him to shoot. The turkey's maybe 5 steps, from him. Wow. And he stopped, and I hit the call and got him to spin one time and gobble. And the boy shot, and I don't think he came within 2 or 3 feet of that turkey.
All right.
And I watched this big turkey run right by me, probably one of the biggest turkeys I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Crazy beard. And I looked and I was just like, wow, that just happened, and we didn't kill the turkey, but the kid was excited that he got to shoot.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to go back and tell my mom about getting to shoot. So he did it, awesome, It was really cool, something to see.
Man, that's really cool that, that's cool that one of your favorite hunts is nobody killed a bird. Just the hunt.
We didn't. Yeah, I even looked, what they went back in, we were in 2 Rangers and they left, and I looked at Wes. And I was like, I don't think he has any idea what he just saw.
Right, yeah.
And he was like, I've never seen
that would have made any
like
grown man.
Yeah, right. I was so it hurt, But at the same time, getting to see him and the smile on his face and all, and
awesome,
that was cool. But it hurt your feelings, definitely.
He was just happy to get to see one.
Yeah,
man, that's cool.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, let's go back out there and buy some stuff.
Yeah, Jared said he's buying.
Oh, all right.
Yes, put it on my card. I got carries.
I forgot. I'm Kerry Barlow. I might get some free stuff.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch y'all next time.
We're here with David Wachtell. Did I say that right?
Wachtell.
He's currently holding it's the U.S. record, right?
Well, it's the world record for the most points on a whitetail buck at 51 points. And it's a former state record that just got beat this year by Stephen Tucker's buck, which holds the world record, and Tennessee state record buck.
Man, that's awesome. Both deer from Tennessee, same county.
Same county, killed a mile apart.
That's unreal.
And, we're talking about maybe getting some samples and doing DNA and see where they're related. There's no doubt they have to be related somewhere down the road.
That's wild.
Start selling tickets.
Yeah, right, man. Dude, that's cool. Well, so walk us through the morning. We were talking earlier, and you said that you don't use trail cams at all. You stay out in the woods as much as you can.
I mean, there's two secrets that are not really that dramatic. Don't hunt where there's not big bucks, and number two, stay out of the woods. So when I shot the 51 pointer, it was on a large farm that I had in Gallatin, a family farm. It was open day of muzzleloader, and I'd been still hunting on a farmland across the street. It was kind of raining, and I went to go check some power lines, do some rattling, and had rattled him in about 120 yards, thinking he was a typical buck that I'd missed with my bow that I thought was probably 180-inch plus typical. And so it was really quick. He came in, I shot him expecting just to have a bunch of trash in his horns, and come up and find out that he was not typical. I'd never seen him before. Monster body. He field dressed 250 pounds.
And you said he's only 3.5.
3.5 years old.
It's insane, a 3.5-year-old that big.
The aging process they do is based on the wear of their teeth. It's not an exact science. So, I'd have to say that maybe he is 4.5, given the size of his body. But that's just how they do it, So, 3.5, and then the other large buck we were talking about, I took in Bellevue, it scores 201. He was 3.5 years old as well.
Really?
And the Tucker buck, they're saying is 3.5 or 4.5. He wasn't that big of a body deer, but that area in Gallatin, Sumner County, where we took those deer, back in maybe it was the 50s or 60s, they brought Wisconsin a bloodline of whitetail down and dropped them off. They also put some in Lamb Lakes, and that's why you have those genetics there. So that genetic string of large rack bucks will pop up in Gallatin. Not traditionally known for a large number of them, but there's a lot of hunters in Gallatin that kind of shoot a lot of stuff.
There's a decent amount of ag land up there too.
There is now, and now that some of the development, a lot of the deer are getting pushed into smaller areas. People are getting pictures of them now that everybody has trail cameras. People are doing trail cameras on their hunt, so there's a lot of pictures floating around these days. And when I shot the Wachtell buck in 2001, they had trail cameras, but they weren't digital.
Right.
They might have been. I don't know. I just have never been one that's used them that often.
Yeah. Well, it seems to work for you.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, there's something to be said for not using them at this point.
Right.
So you've held a record since 2001.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In 2001, I took it with a muzzleloader. It was the world record for the muzzleloader, largest muzzleloader kill ever, and world record for the most points, which it still holds. I think it ranks 3rd or 4th in the world with muzzleloader now. The Lufston buck that Stephen Tucker beat, the Lufston buck was the largest buck killed with a muzzleloader. It took, and now the second place. I think there's been a few other ones taken. So mine only nets out at 244 and some change. They're that small. These other guys are above 300.
What do you think it is like changing in Tennessee where some of these deer are starting to become a little more prevalent? Because historically, we're not really known for that big of whitetails.
I think that has a lot to do with TWRA. I think that has a lot to do with how they manage things. I think that, believe it or not, I think television, because people are becoming trophy hunters now, and so they're letting deer walk. That's a lot to do with it. Nutrition is there. People are supplementing nutrition. I mean, that's another thing that I don't do. I won't plant a food plot. I don't do any of those types of things. It's one of my rules.
I like this.
Natural.
This is like, hey, don't have to plant, you don't have to put truck.
People don't want me to endorse their products, but
Use this product. I would never use it, but use it.
Like, man, I just go opening day, just go grab a pack of cigarettes, and coffee, and
take a leak, shoot a deer.
You learn something new every year. But I like calling animals. So for me, I think all but one of my bucks that I've had now that's say 130 inches or bigger, out of maybe, 10 or 12 deer that are in the book, every one of them came to horns. I rattled every one of them in, except for an 8-pointer that I shot with my recurve a couple years ago. And I called him in with a grunt call.
Do you try to stay out of the woods earlier in the season and wait till rut gets closer?
Constantly. Once I'm familiar with a piece of property, and I go in and kind of map out where certain white oaks are, things that I know that I'm going to want to hunt around,
Right.
I absolutely stay out of it. I may go look around the perimeters to make sure nobody's poaching on it or whatever. But yeah, I stay out of it as much as I can.
Right.
When you're in somebody's den, if somebody came in your den, you would probably know, hey, there's some footprints there.
Right.
You know, so that's just kind of my philosophy, is to let them be unpressured as much as possible. And it's moon phase is a big deal that I live and die by. And there's no evidence that it works except for looking at my trophies. It's all.
Well, there's no real magic to it, but there's a lot of just common sense science behind it.
It's very
There's no evidence it works other than that
other than
world
this
record
evidence.
buck on my wall.
I was driving through Williamson County a week ago, and it was 3:30, and there were deer in everybody's front yards. I just pulled out my phone, looked at my app, and sure enough, the moon phase, that was the highest point for them to be pressured to go eat.
Right.
So I believe it works. It works with fishing, and I live and die by it. I mean, the 201-inch buck I shot in Bellevue, I went to the woods at 9 in the morning, and I shot him at about 11:30.
It's ridiculous.
Man, that's cool.
That's
What
another
app do
thing.
you use, real quick? What moon phase app do you
I don't
use?
even know if that's what they look at.
I'm just really curious,
We'll
because I use my apps a lot for hunting. You know,
It is called ISOLunar.
Isolunar. There you go.
Yeah, I use that one. It basically just tells you what times of the day the moon phase is directly above you or directly below you, which creates a barometric pressure change. Like fish want to feed, and don't want to get up and move around.
Yeah.
So I live and die by it.
That's awesome.
It's cool, man.
Very cool.
Well, thanks for taking 5
Thank you,
minutes.
guys. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
The quality bucks you have from Tennessee on this wall, it's unbelievable. We're here with Stephen Tucker and the Tucker buck. And dude, congratulations, first of all. That's amazing buck you got there. And I personally heard the story a bunch, but you never saw this deer? Did you have trail camera out?
Yeah, I had
you
trail
did?
camera pictures of him. Actually, the first time I saw him, though, I didn't know he was even there. It was the 2016.
Oh, okay.
September, the first September, we were shelling corn on a farm we've had forever, and
Nice.
I was there.
Family farm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I put out, after I saw him, I put out trail cameras, and I kept getting pictures of him. Most of them were at night and stuff like that. And I bow hunted him a little bit, and I quit just because I was afraid I was gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
Trying to get in that close on him, and
Did you get within bow shot of it at all in bow season?
not during bow season,
Okay.
but opening morning, a muzzleloader, he was at 30 yards, and I dry fired on him. All that went off was the front.
Good Lord.
Yes. And I was on the ground in a ground blind.
Wow.
I mean, it
Oh
was
my
just
gosh.
right there in my face, and I couldn't quit.
What did you do?
Y'all gonna laugh at me, but I started crying. I was
Oh, yeah.
upset. I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
just blew it.
sure,
I'll never
yeah.
see him again.
Oh my gosh.
It's literally a buck of a lifetime, I'm sure. I totally get you there.
So in that afternoon, I went back out, same spot. He come out on another in the cornfield. He was 165 yards. I thought, I had like 4 or 5 does in front of me. I thought, well, he'll come on in. He never did. And I put my gun up on the shooting sticks, and I put it on, and I thought, just a little too far. I was just nervous about that shot. And if I didn't feel comfortable with it, I didn't want to take it. I was afraid I'd miss him or cripple him.
Yeah.
And next day, Sunday, I went back out, and I didn't see him. And then Monday morning, he come through the woods, worked a scrape, and he come out right in front of me at like 40 yards. And when he stopped, he was at like 45 yards. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that shoot a deer at 45 yards with a bow.
Oh, yeah.
He was in, but
Man, that is awesome. Well, the fact that you were able to have the wherewithal to not shoot at 165 yards at the world record buck, that's amazing. Hats off to you, man. That's like, yeah.
I was just afraid I'd either miss him, cripple him. Worst of all, cripple him and never find him. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought he deserved more than that. So.
When you saw him through the scope, did you know like that he was a contender, or you just thought he was a big non-typical?
I just thought he was a big non-typical. I thought maybe he was in the 220s, 240s, somewhere right through there. But I never would have dreamed he would have broke 300.
Yeah.
The night they come in green scored him, I freaked out.
Yeah,
I did.
sure.
I mean, I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Dale turned around and he said, this could be life-changing what I'm fixing to tell you. I was like, okay, what is it?
Right.
And he was like, it's over 300 as of right now. He said, I'm adding more. So.
Wow.
Man. Yeah, that's unreal. When we saw the post about it, I was like, are you kidding me, Gallatin? Because we've been hunting the Nashville area for 18 years, and we see some good bucks from time to time, but nothing like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think TWA really put on a good display here, showing that it really is deer like this that come from Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to someone else. It's going to keep me being a little more particular in my stand. When I see that I could actually have a chance at shooting one of these, I'm going to let those smaller bucks walk now. You know what I mean?
Or maybe that'll open a lot of people's eyes. I mean, like, well, maybe take care of the deer and they're going to take care of you.
Yep. Well, awesome, man. Well, thanks for telling us the story.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, dude.
Yes,
And, enjoyed meeting you.